Hi, my name is Shoaib Ali, and this is my video project for Physics 2. My project will basically be going over magnetic field and how that affects magnetic objects and magnetic forces around those fields. So magnetic field basically is described as how magnetic force is distributed in the space around a magnetic object and its poles. So imagine you have a positive pole and a positive pole. The magnetic forces around this would repel due to the magnetic field because the poles are the same. So the poles are the same, the magnetic forces will repel due to the magnetic field. Now if you had a negative force or a negative pole and a positive pole, these would attract because they are opposite poles. Now, basically every magnet has two poles, and depending on the orientation of those poles, there can be either attraction or repulsion in these magnetic objects. And the magnetic field describes the region around these poles. So basically, this whole area and this whole area around the pole is a magnetic field. Magnetic field can be shown mathematically as a vector field. So if you had a vector field and plotted, basically, you have a graph and you plotted your vector lines, these lines would show the strength and direction of your magnetic forces. Now, the magnetic field would be, summarized by adding all these forces together and showing the magnetic field. The specific length of these arrows would show and would be dependent on the magnetic force strength. So the bigger the arrow, the more the magnetic force strength. And it could also be shown using field lines, as was shown in these two examples, with the field lines going in different directions depending on the magnetic force direction. Strength and direction are basically all that's needed to measure the magnetic field, and magnetic field basically occurs whenever charge is in motion, as more charge is put in more motion, the strength of the magnetic field increases. Now, to show a basic example of magnetic field, I made this example of Earth. So basically you have the North Pole, the South Pole, and these forces around the magnetic field of the Earth would go out and retract back in due to the opposite natures of the pole. Earth's magnetic field basically allows us to not be affected by solar winds or cosmic rays due to the magnetic field directions. And, like it shows, it goes in a circle around the Earth due to the opposite natures of the pole. So that was my video project, and thank you guys.